There's no need to hope or fear, but only to look for new weapons. Ah. The Boom Boom Box party started in Buenos Aires. The first situation we got into this was that we were walking around with a boombox we already had, and we were in a club and didn't enjoy the time so much, so we went out to listen to our music outside, and more people spontaneously joined the party. And we suddenly had like this very different party atmosphere, which we enjoyed a lot, and we started to do it more and more on several days, and also to make the sound system a bit bigger, to prepare sets for it. And so we developed all these things of the street parties that we once started in Buenos Aires, and then we continued to do in other places in South America. The music we assembled for these parties, and which was DJ sets we did, inspired us, and the parties themselves inspired us to do music in a different way, in a more open way, in a way more related to this kind of having fun in public space, a very communicative thing and so on. And the results of this led to Comeme. Now there is new artists we're working with, and new friends, which some have not been on Boom Boom Box parties and so on, so it's not only that, but the history, so to say, how everything started and how it became a label has very much to do with Boom Boom Box. The times we live in anyway are new circumstances for music production and music distribution and everything, and we think it's a time where we have to be anyway inventive and try out several things, whereas for example selling records has not become so much, so it's not so important anymore. There are many different possibilities we're seeing of distributing music and sharing music, so and records still being one of them, but just one. So it's also the time, it's relating to the time we live in that leads us automatically and organically to new solutions, I think. It has not a conceptual purpose in making something, but it's the result of an intense work with music and living and loving music and sharing it with friends and so on.
I was a resident DJ in Mexico in a club called La Santanera in Playa del Carmen in the Caribbean, and Matias was like a usual guest there. Like he went like 2 or 3 times a year, and we met there. At that time I didn't even make music, I was just a DJ, but the friendship like started right away because we like kind of like the same things and stuff, and yeah, basically that was it. And then in one of these trips he started talking to me about this project of maybe doing a record label. At the same time I had the interest of starting doing music, so it was like evolving kind of naturally. And with Danny, we had, I mean, he's also from Mexico, and we had friends in common, and yeah, also the friendship grew because of music, you know. It's kind of difficult to put a label on our music because it's like it's made out of different influences or sounds, or I don't know. I mean, it's for sure danceable music, but I wouldn't call it just techno or just house or just electronic, because we even use less and less electronic elements. Matias calls it caveman disco, my style. But yeah, it's more about the feeling or the purpose of it, more than fitting into a genre or like in a scene or whatever.
I did a piano since I was at a young age and stuff like that, but I was never like a scholar in music or anything. It was more of a thing of feeling and listening and creating a relationship with an instrument, and with each instrument you start knowing it, and from there you just get hooked and go on and on. But I think it's an opportunity. Even weaknesses can be taken to take as an advantage, and if you can spot any like a trend or any thing that has a certain path, you can use it on your own advantage and make an opportunity out of it, I guess.
Started DJing as a hobby while I was in school, while I was at the university. Never had really musical background or education, and then after several years of DJing, the lack of music that interested me for playing was the engine that pushed me to do my own. But I started, and I still do it, like really in a very rough way and very intuitive way. I mean, without really rules or like super knowledge of instruments or whatever. It's more like feeling, and that's basically it.
Well, considering the future, I think it's also something that we are creating, and it's something that comes from the circumstances in which we create. So, for example, doing the streets parties is a strategy for achieving something for the future for us, for inspiration, because doing something in a context that is very new for us automatically leads us to new conclusions. And I think that's a bit the spirit of what we do, to try not to stay on something, to not become part of an electronic establishment or something like that, but to create circumstances under which we can find new solutions. And so I think it's very easy to change things in the end.